Hello, y'all. Good morning, guten Morgen, or good afternoon or good evening. Good morning, good morning. I have missed y'all. I have missed being in this space. I did a live last night, and there were a few questions about guides in there and guidance from spirit guides. And so I thought, that would be a pretty interesting read to do, is messages that you need to hear right now, or guidance that you need in this moment. It is coming in with like a little bit of a kick in the butt, so I think we might have a little sassy space today. I'm not sure, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive into messages that you, my friend, are intended to hear in this moment. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. Group 1. Hello, group 1. How you doing? Okay, let's figure out what your message is, or what your card is, and what your message is about. Your message has a lot to do with holding yourself back. It's like it's giving the temperance vibe from the Pulp Fiction or the Pulp Fiction tarot deck, where it's like talking about it's like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and being in this sort of, grounded in one space, and then kind of in our head in another space. And I think you are intended to ground into reality in this space, and that the transition between worlds is really getting out of your head and into the present. This part, in this card, this past energy here is really like in the dark. It's really ominous. It's like very clouded, and there's like a veil over it, and it's really unsaturated and all that. And then over here there's a lot more color, and in the present there's a lot more life and vitality that is existing in this space. Also, the crown chakra, or chakra, however you say it, is activated here as well. There's like beams coming out from the flamingo's head and a crown. So it's like stepping into your sort of kingdom, in a way, stepping into your domain, stepping into self. Your home is your sort of castle here in this space. Your home is your your body is your home in this space, and your body is your castle, right? Or your temple, right? And so we're stepping into the present, stepping into self. And this has a lot to do as well with sort of a transitionary period, a transformation of getting outside of our head, getting outside of this sort of dwelling or fixated. It's a very tunnel visioned kind of energy in this sort of tail end of this flamingo, right? And what's existing in this space is a lot of self-doubt in particular. So I feel like one of the transitionary spaces here is to move into self-confidence. And this is the message, or the, I guess, topic of conversation that is going to exist in the guidance that is intended for you in this moment. Before we tap into tarot, I'm going to give us a little bit of a hit on energy, on what your guides are here to kind of deliver to you in a message, and then we'll move into the tarot reading. So we have here the Citadel Oracle. I think I have these upside down. So let's go ahead and just see what there is to tell you, group 1. See if I have something kind of just peek out here. I guess this is kind of peeking out. The Warrior, perfectionism and burnout. And then you have the Wise One tradition and order. I'm going to get you a few more, actually. Or two more. Let's do two more. These are really hard to get out of the deck. Oh, of course. Storyteller. And the acolyte. Acolyte? Is that how you say it? Certainly hope so. The storyteller is viewpoints and control. The warrior is perfectionism and burnout. The wise one is tradition and order. And the acolyte is new projects and learning. On the bottom of this deck, we have the miser. Stubbornness and inflexibility. And I think that's what we're moving out of. Specifically, there's just a lot of past energy, or like residue is how it's kind of coming in. That is, it's kind of coming in as a bit of a veil to being able to see, I think, self in the appropriate light. I think this is a bit of a conversation surrounding holding oneself back. And really, it's like, with this storyteller thing, this is more so about the narratives that we tell ourselves on what it is that we are realistically waiting for in this space. This is kind of a waiting, a limbo. It's a little bit of a purgatory space in which we are sort of just dragging our heels. And it's like, what's going on? There's like a ball and chain kind of connected to someone's ankle. It's like what I'm seeing in this space. And it's just pacing in sort of this darkness. And on the other side of that is there is a whole new world that this person, it could just, unleash, detach themselves from this kind of ball and chain and move into a new beginning and a new era with a lot more saturation, a lot more color, a lot more life, a lot more vitality. But what needs to occur is that ball and chain needs to stay in the past. And it's a release. And it's metaphoric as well, because you think about the ball and the chain and how heavy that is, right? Something, some kind of energy that is existing in the past space needs to be released in this moment. And it's like the guidance here in this moment is discussing how we need to just let go of this heaviness that we've been hanging on to, let go of this sort of tunnel vision, just giving very Four of Cups vibes, right? Not seeing opportunity that is in front of us because we are so fixated on sort of just being in limbo while waiting for someone else or waiting for something else to kind of come to us. And this is like, you are not a tree, get unstuck. Okay, so let's figure out then what the tarot has to say for the messages from your guides, or the guidance that group one needs in this space. What is the guidance that group one needs in this space, please? I'm half tempted actually today to utilize a different deck. Let's actually go with, I think this one needs cleansed. I've been using it a lot. Let's go actually today with the Light Seers. Especially since it's like, I don't think that's without purpose when you think about it. Light Seers, right? Shedding light on something. So, okay, let's go ahead. We do have the Five of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So I feel like that's in alignment with going through this energy of sort of, look at this girl, is like, there's a key right here, and that's unlocking this door to a new beginning, to new abundance. And it's like, all you gotta do, girl, is pick up the damn key and unlock the door. But here you are inside your head and inside this space, and not seeing that it's so easy. It'll be so easy. You just pick up the key and put it in. It's like, you don't even have to look for it. It's right there. It's right there. And this key is really sort of choosing self is kind of the way to unlock that door to the new beginning, and to let go here and just to release this and put it, whatever will be, que sera, sera, right? Okay, What is the guidance in this space for group 1? There's that 4 of Cups that I talked about, right? That missing opportunity, being tunnel visioned on some sort of, on something that is very distracting, honestly. It's keeping you outside of being able to be in this energy over here, this rainbow, this coming into this cup here. And more importantly, what I love about the Light Seers deck, and I'm grateful that I grabbed this deck, what I love about the Light Seers deck is the imagery here. Her hand is actually on this cup that's being offered to her. It's like she knows that this is where she needs to be, but it's like, but what if, it's like a what if vibe. If I walk away from all of this here that isn't really working for me, and I go into this, what happens here that I'm leaving behind? And there's this awareness, right? And this is, again, one of those between worlds kind of cards, right? It's like she's so focused here on what, the potential, okay, but not seeing her own potential, which is over here, and her own potential is kind of being illuminated for her. Like, what about you? What about you? Tower. The Tower in my is like a breaking down of structures. It's not necessarily, I don't see, like, there's very few cards realistically in the tarot deck that I would consider negative, or that come in with, like, I just can't find a positive way to spin it, right? But the Tower is definitely not one of those. The Tower is one that I really feel like certain things are catalysts for our growth. And anytime there is something that is a catalyst for our growth, some kind of like something that shakes us up and shakes shit up, right, is always a good thing, because on the other side of that is a lesson learned. And so this is something that it's like the lesson, and it's like, I feel like your guidance is like, dude, how many times do we have to tell you? It's kind of coming in like, we've repeated this process to you over and over and over and over and over again. You need to choose yourself. Choose yourself. Please choose yourself. And it's like at this point they're hammering it in. It's like they're dragging around. There's that ball and chain, right? It's this dead horse that is just being drug around with you. And it's like, dude, bury the dead horse. Like, get rid of it. You also had the 8 of Cups fly out. And here she is, like, she's walking away from this. She's deciding. She's like, I'm done with this. I'm done holding myself back. I'm done. And when you think about it, before that is sort of all this indecision. It's all this chaos. It's all this energy, right? In the 7 of Cups. Not the 7 of Cups isn't always in that energy, right? But sometimes, and for specific spaces, it is. It's a space of indecision, of not knowing where to go, of not knowing what to choose, of not knowing what is going to be the best possible outcome. And your guidance in this space is like, always the best possible outcome is choosing self, moving into that wish fulfillment energy. So we know that following the 8 of Cups and what she's walking towards, this horizon here, this sort of bright light that she's heading in the trajectory of, right, is a new beginning. And the new beginning is wish fulfillment. So we know that the 9 of Cups is coming in that energy, followed by the 10 of Cups, which is like the ultimate abundance or ultimate emotional fulfillment. She cannot receive that, she cannot achieve that if she doesn't walk away from what is no longer serving her. And then you have the 7 of Swords. And this is a lot about these sort of birds squawking around this person. And here again, there's that light being illuminated on this person. And I don't think that is without purpose here. Is like getting this energy, this sort of crow energy, this sort of squawking energy isn't necessarily coming in through external spaces. It's not necessarily that it's being influenced from outside of self. This is the chatter that is existing within the mind. Okay, this is the what if scenario. This is feeling like that we're going to miss out on something if we don't choose ourselves, if we just stay in this space and kind of put ourselves in a waiting period. And this, your guidance is like, quit doing that. We're not doing that anymore. And because the space in which we are, if we're in limbo, and if we're in limbo, what is the other side of this situation? What are they doing with their time? Are they in limbo as well, or are they living their life? And that's kind of like, what is it that we are waiting for in this space? And it's like, we're waiting sort of for something to come to us rather than to put one foot forward and to move into choosing self and to see what lies ahead of us rather than staying in this space. And the reason that you are in purgatory really is because there's an alignment disconnect. And so energetically, it's like you're in a space of in between. Okay. And the in between space is like, you can either go back and you can go back into the lower vibration. You can go back into the lower alignment. You can sit there and spin and spiral down into the lower vibrations, or you can jump and you can kind of quantum leap a little bit into the higher alignment. And that's the reason that it's in purgatory, is because you are existing in those two spaces simultaneously. And what you want to be in, and the energy that you are, walking towards, here's like, you see that infinite number here in the background? That's an 8 too. And here you have the 8 of Cups. And this kind of being in this space of like, this will give you this. What you are seeking, and what you are seeking doesn't exist in these cups, which is that equal give and take. That is that balance. That is being met halfway. It's feeling fulfilled. It is having our cup filled while we fill someone else's cup. It is, mutual effort. That is not existing in the past space. It's because we're in purgatory, right? So this is an isolating experience. This is isolation that is like being presented in this space. And what is intended to happen is this path forward, because in the path forward is that equal give and take. Right now, your energy, or where you are intended to be, is to find the light within. That's that hermit. The hermit man has come up so many times. That's that inner knowledge that's inside, going within, finding the light within self. The hermit takes the lantern from within self and then guides itself out of the cave. But it has to find the light within. That's how the hermit works. Much different than the hanged man, where the hanged man is sort of being put there and having faith. The hermit is, while, it's not always that the hermit is putting oneself there, it is about going within to self and finding the light within self, or the answers within self, to navigate out of the darkness. When we do that, then we're moving into this 9 of Pentacles energy, moving into this space of then, this is so much more freedom here, so much more opportunity that exists in this space. This woman here is, in a space of feeling much more free and much more fluid and much more within self. There is an awareness here as well. This is something that whatever this situation is, or whatever you've been going through, is a space, you have been in a space of really doing a lot of mending, a lot of heart mending. And really, I feel like you maybe have already been in this space of contemplating this 5 of Cups here, walking away from this situation. And what your guides are like telling you is that through walking away from this situation, it's like, also with the wheels turning, this is like gears, okay, inside the mind, and knowing. You have a knowing, you have intuition. You need to trust your intuition. And part of that intuition is like, what you need to do here, and all you got to do is just do it, and not look back. And then really honor self. And it's kind of inviting you to move into this Queen of Swords energy. This is a space of where she's got boundaries. She puts her foot down. She doesn't accept less than she is willing to provide. So if she can provide, whatever it is that she's capable and has the capacity to provide, that is the bare minimum of what it is not even an expectation. That is the bare minimum of what she should accept for self, because that's what she's able to provide. And until that happens, this is inviting you to continue choosing self. Here she is, and she's on this like it's funny because she's like on this mattress, essentially. I don't know really what this is. And locked up here in this little corner is like this little cup of emotion, like that she's protecting her heart kind of in this space, right? And here she is, she's out in the middle of nowhere in like an ocean on her own, very willing to kind of just see it out and just be like, you know what, I would rather explore the world of self than to be in this cage, and to be in this space in which I am essentially prolonging my own happiness. So let's see here. I will get you some messages from higher self, and then we'll close out this reading. I haven't used these cards in a while. Messages from higher self. One more. What are the messages from higher self for group 1, please? Wow. You're too amazing to follow everyone else. Forge your own path. Give yourself some credit for doing a good job at this whole living thing. Stop giving away your power right now. And on the bottom of the deck, you have, no one said this whole life thing was a race. It's okay to slow down. Which is interesting too, because I think that this is more so like racing thoughts, okay? Really dwelling and sort of like just having being up in our mind more than being in the present. When you get into the present space, it's a slow space. That's why we have all this stuff that's distracting us through quick consumable content and 7-second videos, you know, because our mind, it's instant gratification, and our mind remains distracted, because when we get into the present, it's a very, well, kind of slow space. It's not, there's not a whole lot going on, but there's also not a whole lot influencing the mind to kind of dwell on things that are no longer serving it as well. So maybe it is, and maybe this is also a hit to kind of disconnect a little bit, have some time in the day in which you are not on a device or not, you know, living in that world. Sometimes we wake up and it's like, I heard this thing once, and it was like, you know what means the most to you by the first thing that you grab when you wake up in the morning. And I thought about that just the other day when I woke up, and the very first thing I grabbed was my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this thing is addicting. And it is. We are all kind of like addicted to these little devices. So taking some time, putting it on do not disturb, or having some just time where you're really in a space of choosing self, right? And putting this sort of on the back burner, or putting this distraction on the back burner, because everything, you know, you can leave and then come back and not a thing has changed. And that's something that you'll realize when you take some major breaks from social media. All right, group 1, that is your guidance in this space. If that resonated with you, please like and subscribe to my channel. Definitely like this video. That helps tremendously. Leave me a comment down below. And again, if you want to stay around, do subscribe, because we'd love to have you here. Thank you so much. Group 1, enjoy the rest of your day. Potty break. Group 2. Hello, group 2. Ooh, the energy shift in group 2. I have been so into the energy in the group 2 space. I don't know who is tapping into this, but man, it's like I want to just sit in your energy because it feels good. I like it. I like it a lot, group 2. Just saying, I like your energy. I'm here for this. Okay. Messages coming in from your guides, or what guidance you need in this space. What do we got here, baby? Yang. Oh, this is so interesting because the other card that had popped out before that I wasn't sure if it belonged to you or not, so I put it back in, was yin, and then you have yang. What do we have to talk about here? Some kind of messages coming in is a little bit about being stubborn, I guess. Are you being stubborn, group 2? Or just not seeing something for what it is. Okay, all right, hold on. Let's get into your, what are the energy cards for group 2, please? What is the guidance that they need? I'm going to do 4 of these, and then we'll kind of tap into what your message is going to be about. Wow, these are just popping out for you. You guys are like, you best be listening. And I'm really getting that vibe, too. Like, they feel like you kind of, there's something about, I'm so sorry, group 2, about, like, decision making and not really being the best at it. It's like, the interesting thing, okay, you have this Smith, and it's in reverse too, of like this overthinking and taking action, which is interesting because it feels like what you need to get out of is overthinking and not taking action. Interesting. So what's you have here is missed opportunities and fear of failure. And then you have the aspirant, ambition, diligence, setbacks, the tailor, attention to detail, pride, the diviner, divine timing, and evaluation. And what is so interesting in this space is that I was getting a little bit of a message surrounding that you think so much that you almost put yourself in a space of like creating realities that don't exist. And it's like, I feel like for some of you, you think that you're so, oh gosh, how do I word this? Help me out here. It's like the way that you analyze and the narratives that you come up with are so outside of what is really going on. And it's like you're in this space of really being like, I can trust my intuition. It's like wanting to, it's like deciphering and distinguishing outcomes like inside your mind, but yet not having all the details to be able to realistically develop an all-encompassing answer here, like to to a conclusive space. It's like you're missing a whole lot of information and yet deciding that something is not it without gathering all the information. And this could be in terms of a connection, but just with this yin and yang thing, but it is really like it's like it's giving up before even trying kind of energy. It's like and very stubbornly at that a little bit here. Group 1 or group 2 is like, I know that this is what's going to happen. I know that this is going to be the outcome, and therefore no. And it's like, I think what they're inviting you is to see like, how many times have you been wrong? One. And then the other thing is like, how many things have you missed by doing this, by just being like, walking away before you've even found something to walk away from. You know, like the amount of information that you have gathered, how much of it is based on what you've actually experienced versus what's been going on inside your mind that you've been thinking. It's like you've kind of analyzed things, and while you're great at analyzation, part of being a good analyzer is having all the information. If you are deciding that something isn't for you, have you taken the opportunity to get to know that space? Have you really dissected it? Have you given it time to determine this thing is not for me? And it's talking about too is like it's kind of like being in a space of self-isolation a little bit. It's like taking yourself away from of having to it's like the opportunities that are being missed in this space is because all of this like determining, nope, I'm not going to do that, nope, I'm not going to do this, nope, I'm not going to do that, nope, this isn't for me, is actually holding you back from this forward trajectory and this ability to kind of move forward. It's putting you in a bit of a setback, okay? And it's like, and this, I don't think it's without purpose either that you have these cords being cut, because I think one of the cords that really needs to be cut in this space is the cord to pride, and like kind of accepting sometimes that we might be wrong, and that we might be wrong about a situation. We might have not seen things from an all-encompassing standpoint. We may have seen things from a veil of fear or of sort of a guard or a wall that, you know, inadvertently was being placed around us, where we're kind of pushing things away before we even let them in. Now, I do think too, this like evaluation thing and talking about divine timing, I think that this has a bit to do with I don't think it necessarily has to do with you being sort of in a space of waiting for divine timing, but sometimes it might be that it's like you're waiting for some kind of information to come to you that changes your mind, but your mind is so set on what it's already seeing, and so obviously we know that energetic alignment exists, and so the only thing that you're going to see when your mind is very determined that this is how the outcome is going to be is like you're going to see this situation as worst case scenario, right? All right, let's get into your message. We are doing the Light Seers deck today. We're going to illuminate this space. I always feel like when there's a message that's coming out that's kind of unseen, that the Light Seers is the perfect deck for that. It has a great imagery. I love this deck. Love it. Pulling out right on top is I just pulled out to the Seven of Pentacles. So some sort of new beginning being rooted in this moment, or at least it is intended to be. This is a little bit of a stubborn group. And yet also it's like you have all this emotion sitting inside of you, and I think that's something that is kind of feared in this space a little bit, is like wanting, you know, being in a space of emanating that from within, all the emotion that you do feel, kind of out of fear. I just heard, let it go, let it go. Oh boy, that's so cute. Okay, what is the message for group 2, please? We had a bunch of these pop out. Okay, this whole group decided it wants to be here. So we have the Knight of Swords, taking action, the Moon, things unseen, Six of Wands, you know, kind of being the chosen one, Five of Swords, that's that internal and external conflict. Really allowing ourselves to be very influenced very easily. It's like you gather information, yeah, but how much of that information are you gathering from self realistically? It's like you're gathering it from all these other spaces. And in some spaces, you might have people squawking in your ear that really have a negative agenda, or have some kind of agenda that is not really, it's like you're not seeing it. It's unfortunately, like in this space, it's like because of the way that you gather information, you could actually be prone to being sort of easily persuaded or easily manipulated, and not really moving in a space of really honoring self when you're in this analytical space. Okay, the Knight of Swords is like, this is inviting you to walk away from some sort of pattern that you have been sort of ruminating in. Here we have on the bottom of the deck the Two of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, as well as the Three of Cups. And it's like, what is it that we've been sort of fixated on in terms of how we see the world, and how much of this, you know, a lot of the space right now and a lot of the energy that has been existing in this reading for this guidance is that a lot of us are sitting in limbo, like waiting for something to come to us rather than being in a space of moving towards something. And you are kind of intended to move. You're kind of intended to get out of your head, actually, get out of this energy of sort of sitting in the dark and really seeing things in a different light, and changing and shifting perspective in this moment, because a lot of these thoughts that have been kind of coming into your alignment are really limiting. They're really holding you back from sort of this new way of looking at things, this new beginning, and a little bit more optimism even. Getting you away from seeing yourself in a different light. Being able to sort of have this light illuminated within self, and realize that you have the capacity to shift this perspective. You have the capacity to change the trajectory of how you are operating in the world right now. Because it's kind of like this, it's a really kind of just very easily influenced space. It's like, sometimes we need to cut out the noise a little bit and cut out the here's that train confirmation coming in. It's like, what kind of energy do you really have in your space around you? What is the environment like? Who are these people around you? What is it that they are focusing on? What is it that they are telling you that you need to do? And how much of that is like, how many of these choices that you're making are choices that you have made, that you are making, that you are following your own intuition? We're very disconnected from intuition in this space, very focused on how to serve others. And so this is kind of like this message of going, in order to kind of move into stabilizing. And look, there's so much kind of going on here. Like there's other things that are in these energies, right? Besides, the only thing that's not is the Two of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. This is the space of self, right? And these are the spaces of stabilizing. The Wands is kind of looking out into the future, putting sort of the past behind us, putting these old paradigms, putting these old patterns of behavior. There's a lot that has been missed in this space, a lot of opportunity that has been missed. I'm really kind of surprised that the Four of Wands, or I'm sorry, the Four of Cups hasn't popped out for you, because this is a bit about missed opportunity as well. I also have like my left ear in particular, like there's coming into this space is like, it's just bothering me, and it's like someone kind of like in my ear a little bit. And so I think you have an energy of some sort that is just in your ear, and they are dictating a lot of, and it's controlling. It's so controlling, and it might not seem controlling. It might seem like it's it could come in as like solid advice, or it could come in as, but it's very self-motivated, and it's really irritating. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like there's like a bug in my ear or something. And I didn't have that at all. It wasn't bothering me until I got into your energy and into your space. And then just dealing in this Five of Swords energy within this, the card here is like there is something that's kind of coming in that is controlling all of these other things around you. And this ability to kind of move into calmer waters and move into really a space of choosing self. This is a consistent energy of choosing like everything but self. There's also this person here that is sort of, guiding these or it's really being in a space of acts of service. The one thing is too that this is like a, I guess this is like a father with his daughter is here too. So, you know, I guess if you are a parent too, there could be some people that really need your focus a little bit more in this space. And then understanding community. It's more about understanding who really has your back. Now, you do have this yin card coming out as well. Ooh, just shuffling, I had the Empress here. This could be you, or if you, somebody that you're dealing with. And then Strength, and then Justice, and the Tower. I feel like there's somebody or something that you've been dealing with, or that you've kind of like, especially with this, like all this other energy, it's like, I kind of feel you have Judgment, you have the Magician, and then here at the center, you have, hold up, the Five of Pentacles, as well as the Two of Swords. What is missing in your energy is your intuition, trusting yourself. It's like there's a situation with someone, like you have this yin and yang energy here, right? In which we are just not trusting self, needs to balance out a bit. It's like you hold the key to this like new beginning in this space. And here's the thing is like you're in this space of just like not seeing it, not seeing that the key is right there. Look, and here you are, you're kind of also in this energy like, yeah, I'll believe it when pigs fly. But underneath that is the Two of Cups, and so maybe pigs do fly, group 2. But anyway, here in this space is that like you have this key that is to this door to abundance, right? On this is the Five of Pentacles. The key is right here. All she has to do is get out of her head and look over there and find the key and walk through the door. This requires a little bit of action on your behalf. It's like requires you to do some movement forward, right? Because on the other side of this door is all of this, is this new beginning. And what's been holding you back from just stepping away from this past energy, or this like squawking kind of influential energy, what's been holding you back from choosing self is it's interesting because it's almost as though isolating is being alone, okay, is almost like a worse reality than being in the wrong company. And I think for some of you, there are some energies around you that are not good for you. They're not, the influence that they have on you and the decisions that you have made as a result of these conversations or these influences, or this idea that you know exactly what's going to happen by this influence from outside self, is actually holding you back from really experiencing some very meaningful connections of tapping into spaces where you're actually connecting in with more emotionally fulfilling, more stable, more abundant personalities or abundant energies, and really kind of disconnecting you from being able to experience more rewarding relationships with other people. What else? Yeah, and the thing is that here we have on the bottom of the deck is this Three of Swords. Is like the energy that is around you right now is kind of, and look at this, you know, here's all those like crows. Look at all the birds in the background, all the birds surrounding this. And it's like this person is just like crying out for help. And then here's all the birds that are just watching this happen, not coming to the aid of this person, not helping. And it's because it's very self-motivated. And in this space, here's that Four of Cups that I talked about just before, is like, she's here, she's focused on all of these sort of like I guess mediocre cups, right? And then someone's coming out with this like grand offer to this person, and her hand is on this cup like this. She knows that this is a space in which there is like a fruitful, beautiful new beginning, but instead she's over here and she's fixated on the past, or fixated on that which is truly no longer serving her, but this requires her effort, and it requires trust. It requires, it's kind of a, what's that Pink song just came in? It's a trust fall, baby. And I think that the thing that is happening here is there's a fear of that trust fall. There is no Fool on the board, right? You know, the Fool is that risk-taking energy. That's that action-oriented energy. You have this card here. You have the Knight of Swords that is like willing to kind of take, to put the foot down and lay down some boundaries and move into new beginnings. But then it's also, you know, it came in side by side with this moon energy. It's like, but wait, you know, but hold on, I don't know if I want to do that. And it's also being in the duality of these two energies as well. It's like, you can either be in this space. Yeah, this is the duality here, is like, and this is the yin and yang thing as well. Honestly, is like, right now in the energy that you have going on is like, here's you and here's all these people around you, but the people around you here are very negative, or they're holding you down, or they're the environment is just not great, and they're just kind of like influencing you to really make decisions that benefit them more than they benefit you. Flip that. And here, if you move here, there's still all these people around, but these people are here to support you. They're here to encourage you. They're here to congratulate you on choosing self and on the things that you are doing for self. They're not here influencing you to be anything but yourself. They're not here to do anything for the benefit of them. They're here for the benefit of you. Okay, let's get you some messages from higher self. It's interesting too, because always in the group 2 space, it's like always my kids start kind of like squawking out there, you know. It's like really interesting how energy ends up transferring a little bit. It's like I can hear them out there talking or bickering or whatever, and it happens a little bit in this space. You know, like, sometimes I'm like my kid's whistling, or I'm like, my son's on his thing. It's like, that's when I become very aware of everything around me that is distracting me, and it takes me out of self, which I think is very synchronized in this space. One more. Let's see. Messages for group 2's higher self. From a little bit of faith goes a long way. Remember that. Your life is so special. Treat it with loving care. What has your inner voice been asking of you? Listen and act. Let your feelings out, all of them, even the ones that scare you. And on the back of this is, I think, the perfect way to end your reading. Say goodbye to your past and leave the baggage behind for good. Yes! Yeah! I love that for you. And I agree 100%. All right, group 2, if this resonated with you, please like this video. That helps my channel tremendously. And if you want to stick around for more content, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notification so that you may be notified when new videos arrive. Also, leave me a comment down below and let me know if this hit with you. Thank you so much, group 2, for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group 3. Hello, group 3. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. All right. What do we have for you? We have a leg up. I like that for you. This is like a mystery pile lately. I don't ever know what's going to come into the group 3 space. Group 1 and group 2 have kind of a consistent collective, so I kind of know the storyline that might exist in that space. But group 3, you're often a wild card, and I don't know if that means that you're just kind of going through it and having like, you know, going in waves a bit. A lot of you actually tend to resonate always into the group 3 space, which is like you're in this kind of ebb and flow of life. But I really feel like what you are kind of intended to see in this moment is that you have a leg up. Now, on the bottom of the deck of your energy, which I was going to tap into with the Citadel Oracle, you have the Enchanter. Deception and trickery, I think, is something that you actually have going on around you more so than that's existing within. I just don't want to believe that my collective is deceptive. And if you are, go away. All right, let's get into your energy first and see what kind of messages are coming out. Wow, okay. Those are kind of came all out. I have fate too. I usually was choosing 4, so that's really interesting that 4 kind of came out like that. You have the Wise One, the Warrior, the Enchanter, and the Diviner, which is these 3 cards. The Wise One, the Warrior, and the Diviner. I'm pretty sure we're in between... I think that these 2 are in the group 1 space and that this was in the group 2 space. Interesting. So you actually might resonate into the whole storyline in this reading. Just saying. The Fate, accepting help and guidance. Well, that's what we're here for right now, is this guidance. And then you have the Enchanter, deception and trickery, and the Diviner, divine timing. Now, I do think that imagery is really important. The only thing that you have in the dark is this Enchanter. And I think that there has been an energy around you that's been very deceptive or very, just not great. Like very low vibrational kind of stuff, but specifically deceptive. Is like they're manipulative, they're... just that energy coming into this card is like they actually operate from a lot of guilt, but really just pushing down the guilt and being like, nope, I'm not gonna, it's childish. It's very immature. It's like, rather than facing things, rather than being accountable, it's like running and hiding and then not holding themselves accountable and just being like, nope, I didn't do that. This isn't me. I didn't. And just the amount of energy that they're really holding, the amount of guilt that they're hanging on to in this space is not great. It's putting them in alignment with a really kind of icky energy, okay? And you in this space are kind of like in a lighter, in a bit of a, I mean, you're definitely been going through it, don't get me wrong. Like, you have been kind of hanging on, you know, you've been sort of just, I think, weathering the storm. And I think that's why it's kind of coming in as that ebb and flow for your collective, right? I was like, it's just been coming in waves, right? Coming in like, where it's like, you have, it's like, oh, this one time I heard this quote, it was like, the highest, it's like the peak of the highest mountain and the depths of the lowest valley. And that is the process of healing, essentially. It was like talking about the ebb and flow in that, and how some days are just like you're on the top of a mountain, and then other days it's like you feel like you're at the bottom of the ocean and kind of going phew, like through those waves. But right now you are on an up current. And also you are intended to kind of know that you already have a leg up in this space. And I think that some of you have an awareness of that, and some of you just need reminded of that. So let's go ahead and see what your sort of message is from... There's a hit here too with this accepting help and guidance, in terms of, I just heard this yesterday about, or I didn't hear it, I guess, like on my way home, I was thinking about the surrender, on surrendering that which doesn't serve us and releasing things that no longer serve us. And one of the things that I felt compelled to talk about was that, you know, if you don't ask for help from your guidance, they really can't help you. So moving into a space of being like, this is heavy. Can you please take this from me and help me with this? and just asking for guidance and asking for help. Even if that's just hitting energetically, you know, thoughts become things too. So even if it's, you know, even if you don't believe in that, you are sort of inadvertently manifesting when you begin viewing it that way, as though this is too much for me to carry. Please help me carry this. It's also giving that footsteps poem, where I don't know if you, I think it's called Footprints actually, where there were this set of footprints and then they went to one, and the person asks Jesus or God, or I can't remember how it goes particularly, but it was like, where were you when these footsteps were only one set? And the response was, well, that's when I was carrying you. And so it is kind of like this reminder too, that if you don't have what feels like help around you, or you feel kind of isolated or hopeless, that you do have a guidance around you, and you have a spiritual team, and you have a connection to a higher power in which you can seek guidance from. Pulling out this Light Seers deck for your message, I do have Temperance right on the bottom there. So this really kind of connecting in with self and having faith. Okay. What is the message in the group 3 space, please? Yeah, some things going on. This I feel is all connected here. It's kind of, you're dealing with it right now, but it's like this is intended to be past energy. And you are really kind of being invited. There's that Temperance. What, one of these wanted to come out? Both of these? Yeah. Okay. Let's get you like one more. There's this. Oh, I missed it. Oh, for the love of. All right, well, we'll take out this Ace of Wands. Maybe also this Four of Wands. And then on the bottom of the deck, you have the Six of Swords and the Chariot. Okay, so these are kind of grouped up here. Let me just lay it out for you. Like these here together, this here is one thing. These are together, and these are together. These kind of all kind of like sit like this. Okay, so this energy here, it's what you've been dealing with is like this, this kind of like heartbreaking situation, this thing that is, well, first of all, it's externally influenced. So there's all this energy around you, or this kind of negative, space that is existing around you that is really infiltrating the ability to sort of connect in with self, really putting you in a space of dwelling and not really trusting your intuition in this space. Something went down in this energy that was very like shocking, but also there's a reminder here too that these big moments of things that shake us up are catalysts for our growth. There is a lesson always on the other side of that, and this energy that you were dealing with, this I would say person that you've been dealing with, that is really just immature. That's the biggest problem. This is really an immaturity problem more than it is anything else. This person shook everything up, right? And on the other side of that is a lesson. And now you're kind of in the aftermath a little bit of this energy of being in this space with this person, right? And now you're kind of really intended. The guidance here is like to be greedy about what it is that you want for yourself, because and you don't have to do it by stepping on anyone else. It's like this person, how they operated, their kind of greed in this space, or their selfishness was, it didn't matter who it impacted. You, on the other hand, like you have the ability to choose self and to honor self without it impacting others, and without it, and understanding that those who harmed us, or those who moved with us a certain way, it's like you're not punishing them by choosing yourself. You're just no longer accepting that which you do not deserve. And understanding that there are things that are healthy and there are things that are really not healthy. And this energy over here is not healthy. You are kind of anticipated to move into calmer waters, to walk away from this, to really move into a space where you are honoring yourself. And this is, this woman here in the Six of Swords energy, she has been weathering a storm, really. And it's like the only way for her to kind of move into calmer waters is to trust. And here she's having faith in sort of these birds, in these, external things outside of herself, rather than really being able to move into a space of having that faith within self. But sometimes when we are in this energy, it's really hard for us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so I think one thing that is very prominent in your reading too is to remember that you have guidance, to remember to surrender these things to a higher power, to not forget to pray, not to forget to meditate, not forget to do these things that are connecting you in with your spirituality, not to forget to connect these things that are connecting you in with your faith outside of yourself. Because sometimes when our energy around us is so conflicting, and then we're in an energy too, it's like the only thing that we can do to get us outside of that conflict is to seek external influence, which is not usually where we would want you to be. But when you have been dealing with a specific energy for so long, you are connected into that. And so when you go within and you're dwelling within, you're connecting into a lower alignment inadvertently, just because of the things that you've been going through and the things that you've been experiencing. And so actually seeking guidance outside of self within this space in particular is going to help you to go on into that upcurrent and to remain in that space and to get you lifted out of the energy that you've been dealing with and been kind of ruminating in and suffering almost in with. And this is sort of like these reminders of knowing sort of who to give your energy to, making sure that you're not giving your energy to just, anyone too, really being mindful of where you're providing information at. There are certain spaces that you can tap in energetically. Social media for one, going on social media and just sort of like venting even because you just need someone to talk to. Well, find people who are really there for you and support you, and then talk to them about it privately, because energies that are attaching into those social media spaces, that is putting you in energetic alignment. That is all kind of then you have, by talking about it in certain spaces, you're inviting all kinds of different energies. And it's not like that you shouldn't be allowed to talk about it, but there are some things that are just, it's kind of like, it's easier to talk about things when we're on the outside of it rather than when we're in it. And so if you're in a situation and you're in it, dealing with it, talking about it in certain spaces might actually make it worse. And this is really kind of like walking away from, because also not only that, but when you are talking about in this space, you're kind of aligning yourself with the energy that you're dealing with by doing that. And this is like really moving into a space of like walking away from this. Walking away from the situation that is just no longer serving you, and really honoring it, because you have all of these things. The Nine of Wands traditionally is like being in this space of like they're kind of like bruised and battered and like have all these wands behind. Like this is like they're kind of like badges of honor, like emotional hits that this person has really been through, that they're kind of like standing in front of, like I'm defending, what am I defending in this space, really? There's like just a lot of like emotional despair, or things that are just like, I've had enough. It's like this person has weathered the storm, and they have this situation and this environment has really brought this person down. And it's like then just being in a space of consistently kind of like just trying to find what little light there can be. And what's going on too is like right now in this energy, because this is the energy kind of surrounding you and this is what you have going on, the way out is actually to look towards things that uplift you. So in this space, this external influence is actually so helpful. Community, friendships, other, you know, relationships even. I mean, and this is in this space, in this Four of Wands, this isn't really feeling like a union card with like a counterpart, more so as it's like a community and celebrating and like finding people that genuinely support and care about you, and then really feeling okay to kind of lean on those people for guidance, lean on those people for aid in kind of helping you through this process, either through I mean, it doesn't have to be like asking for financial help. It could be just like just needing sort of advice on how to move forward, or somebody that you can trust that is positive. You know, you have this energy around you that is so negative. And, you know, sometimes like when we get too isolated in this, we kind of become this in some way, right? And so right now it's like your guides really want you to be, I feel like the guidance here also has a lot to do with you really being in this space too of meditation, or, you know, opening up your third eye and seeing things through a different light, and really like going within a bit, but also emanating out. You understand? Is like going within, but meditating, communicating like inside your mind with your guidance and like, and God or spirit or whatever resonates with you, and being like, please help me through this, you know? And look, I've done that, and it's actually really powerful experience to surrender that, you know, just your heartbreak, or, you know, the things that are kind of weighing you down in this space. And just often, you know, going in whenever you have, you know, you're laying down at bed at night, okay, rather than letting your thoughts, as soon as your thoughts begin to dwell on this environment and this situation and this person, go within and then go without, you know, go within in the mind, and then begin surrendering and begin, you know, shifting the narrative inside the mind, shifting the narrative from dwelling there to dwelling on the future, or seeing a trajectory of like seeing past this space, seeing past this moment, and rather than ruminating in it. Okay. All right, let's get you some messages from your higher self. All right, group 3. I just opened up, someone is in need of your love, offer it to them. And I just got a hit about children. I don't know why, but like for some of you, you may have children, and that while you're in this space and dealing with this and dwelling on this, these kids really kind of need you for the same reason, because they're also going through it. And so rather than, you know, if you have children, lean on each other. Man, I'll tell you what, my kids were amazing when I was going through some crazy things. It's like, it's sad sometimes when you're going through something really hard and you don't want your children to kind of be involved in it, but like, the kids just like taking that time with them and fixating on them and focusing on them, it's like it's healing you both simultaneously. That's for a very small collective of you, I guess, but I know some of you might just have children. All right, messages from your higher self. When you find something that excites you, go all in and enjoy the ride. Yeah, really get distracted in things that really make you feel good, because you got to get out of this energy that you've been in for a while. Stop trying to carry the world on your shoulders. That too. And then you have Let your feelings out, all of them, even the ones that scare you. Your life is so special. Treat it with loving care. Stay present. That's where life happens. And then you have speak up and out. Let your voice be heard loud and clear. And I think this is talking about really like speak up and out is like that message again on speaking like to a higher power, to that kind of guidance outside self. All right, group 3. Do me a huge favor. If this resonated with you and you enjoy this, do like this video. That helps the channel tremendously. If you are interested in sticking around, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment down below and let me know if this resonated with you. Thank you so much for being here, group 3. Enjoy the rest of your day.